Hey, welcome to Talk Tuesday. Talk Tuesday is our weekly segment where we go over tips to enhance your finances. If you've been here before, welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome. I hope you have subscribed to the page. If you haven't, please do so. If you're watching this video, please like it. That helps me out. Hey. Thank you for tuning in. So, today we are going to discuss planning ahead for retirement. But before I get into it, I always forget this part. Let me introduce myself for anyone who might be tuning in new, who doesn't know who I am. I am Coach D. I'm a budget coach, and I help high achieving women reach and exceed their financial goals while still enjoying life in the process. I go live every week at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, and sometimes I share it to my LinkedIn. So, check me out on both and just here every week with a different tip. We pick a topic for the month, and every week we do, different tips pertaining to that. So today we're focusing on planning ahead for retirement. Hey! Thank you guys for tuning in. We are in the month of financial planning. I hope we are thinking about financial planning. I don't know about you all, but I got an email today about, my benefits at work. So that's another part of financial planning. I don't know if I have that in topics for this month. No, I didn't make that in a topic for this month, but that is a part of planning ahead financially. Okay, today we're talking about retirement, but definitely take a look at that. What are your options? I'm not going to get into that because we can have a separate chat about that, but definitely look at it. Don't be the person that just says, all right, I want the cheapest. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right, so let's get into it. So, what exactly is retirement planning? So, retirement planning is this: do I need when I retire? How much money do I need to live comfortably and feel comfortable? And it's actually taking the steps to now I know what I need or what I feel like I need to be comfortable. Now, what steps do I have to take to get there? What steps do I have to take to make sure that I have that by then? And planning ahead is beneficial because you're doing it ahead of time. So um, why is it important to plan ahead? Because planning ahead will make sure that you're not at the last minute trying to figure out where am I going to get all this money in such a short period of time. The earlier you start planning, the easier it will be for you to get to where you're trying to be. The easier it will be for you to pick up that money to be prepared financially, because you got to remember at the same time you're still living your life currently. So if you're trying to prepare for retirement and you wait till the last second, if you didn't have a lot of money, like, earlier in your employment stages, where you're going to get all that money in the future? Because we sometimes say like, okay, I'll do it later. When I get further in, when I get a raise, I'm going to, put more money to it. But that's not always the case, because a lot of times when we make more money, we spend more money. So, get started now. Start where you are, start where you can, and add that money and allow that money to work for you. So I'm going to go over 5 reasons. Hey, thank you for tuning in. We're going to go over 5 reasons, five mistakes that, people deal with from not planning ahead. So my hope is that me sharing these mistakes with you, it kind of encourage you to get started now. Think about retirement now rather than later. Not, when we have, somebody come to the job 2 months before you're ready to retire, they want to do financial planning with you. And you're like, well, and then they don't, tell you the correct way. They're just like, well, I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but they're not telling you, what you can do. They're just like, okay, so you need this, but you have this, because all their focus is, when you get that lump sum, they want you to put the lump sum in their account at their institution, which is not always a bad thing, but you need to have other plans, besides that. Their whole focus is, getting that money to their institution. So think about it beforehand. That's what I encourage you to do. So number one, a mistake. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Number one is outliving your savings. So, when we don't plan ahead, we don't think of the numbers, we don't consider all the different avenues when we're thinking about retirement, we don't know what we really need. And then, we don't save enough because we didn't really take the time to sit down to think about this, think about this, think about that. And then we're into retirement, our savings is gone. What do we do then? You know what I mean? Then we have to go back to work. Who wants to go back to work? Unless you want to go back to work because you're, bored, or you retired early and, you just want to hang out. You know what I mean? You get, you want to. Now, I'm not against that. I'm just saying, don't be the person that because you didn't prepare, you have to work. Don't be that person. We don't want to have to retire. We don't have to work because we have to. Nobody wants to work because they have to. So just think about that. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Number two, an issue that some people face is not preparing for inflation. Not preparing for inflation. Like even right now, we know things have increased greatly. So just think about now. Think about how much is going to increase in the future. Now, right now, it went up a little bit high because we had a lot going on, but you don't know how much is going to go up in the future. But it's what we're paying now. It's not what you're going to be paying when you retire. So you have to keep that in mind. So when you're thinking about your retirement, don't think about, you know, use what you're doing now, as a starting point, but just know your numbers need to be higher than what you're paying now. Your taxes are going to be higher, um, insurances are going to be higher, everything's going to be higher. So think about that when you're thinking about retirement, because you want to be prepared, you want to be comfortable, you want to be able to enjoy retirement. You work all those years, you want to go on vacation, you want to, not be kind of stuck and struggling in retirement. Like, okay, so I worked so hard to get to retirement and now I can't even enjoy it because now I don't have enough money. So now I got to go back to work. So then you worked and earned the retirement and got to that point, got to that excitement, had the party, all that. Now you got to go back to work. Don't do that. Don't be that person. Number three, feeling overwhelmed with old debt. So something that we think about, with thank you, good info. Definitely want to travel. Yes, we have to travel. We need to travel. That's a part of life. You know what I mean? That the joys that you have, maybe everybody doesn't want to travel. Maybe you want to do other stuff. Maybe you're somebody who maybe you want to go hit the casino, or you want to go to the racetrack, or you want to go shop, and like whatever it is you want to do, you need to be able to do those things. Have the money to be able to do those things. Number three, I was saying was being overwhelmed with old debt. So when we don't plan accordingly for retirement, then we have the debt that we had like for now. When I retire, if I have the debt that I have now, then when I do retire, it's going to be a struggle for me to kind of pay that off, because now I had to think about what I'm making now. It's not what I'm going to make then, because we make the mistake of thinking that when we retire we're going to make what we make. No, you actually make less, unless everybody's decision, everybody's is different, but most times people make less money in retirement than they do while they're working. So be mindful of that. So if you are struggling to pay your debt off now, you're struggling and you can only afford to make your minimum payments, then just think about when you retire, it's going to be harder. So either get a plan to eliminate that debt before you retire, or to be able to pay it off, put money aside, increase it. But I would say pay it off early. I would say pay it off early, because you're going to save on that interest. You're not going to worry about that. And don't be the person that pays that credit card off and then we're going to hike it back up because, oh, it's paid off now. I could use it. There's nothing on that one. Don't do it. You're going to be in a cycle. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just keep in mind, in that time you have less income to pay off that debt. So pay it off early. Number four, I have healthcare costs. So in retirement, what you pay for retirement now is not what you're going to pay in retirement. And we feel like, what I'm paying at work for insurance is a lot. Well, it's going to be higher than that in retirement. It's going to be higher than that. So be mindful of that. Unless you work for a long time and maybe your job provides you with that. Not all jobs do, but that's something a part of planning for retirement, knowing what your job provides you with, knowing what you're going to have in retirement, but knowing the cost as well. So when you're working, your employer is paying some of your medical benefits. So when you retire, they probably won't be paying as much. It's going to be probably less. So if you are somebody who's retired, in the comments, definitely let me know if you pay more for your medical than you did when you were working, because it is, from what I've seen, people's insurance is higher. And that makes it harder for you, because guess what? You have less income now. Your other bills are higher, just like we just talked about. So be prepared for that. Be prepared for things to cost more. Be prepared to put more money aside. Don't count on just your lump sum at work. You have to do other things. You have to plan in other ways. It's a lot of things you got to do when you're planning for retirement. Number five, last one, is Social Security. Sometimes we think Social Security is going to be so much. We had that so set in our head. I'm going to have this. I'm going to have this. When I get my retirement, when I get my Social Security, be straight. Listen, know how much your Social Security is. It will only take you a couple minutes to log into Social Security Administration website, create an account, and they will show you right now what your estimated numbers are for when you turn 62, when you turn 63, 64, 65, 67. You can actually log in and see what those numbers are. Take a look, know where you're at, know, and just know that, okay, so if you're someone who's still working, those numbers will continue to increase as you continue to make more income. But just have an idea. Don't just wonder. Don't just be surprised. Don't go when you apply for Social Security and then now you get it, and now you get the shock of, oh my gosh, it's only this much money. You think it's going to be more than it is when you can know in advance what it is, so you know what other things you need to do to prepare. Okay, so my Social Security is going to be this amount, and I know I need to save more to cover that, or I know I need to work a little bit longer so my pension can be higher. So know those things, know your numbers, check things out, take the time. So sometimes we're so focused on the now, we're not thinking about the future. You got to think about both, because when you get to an older age, you want to be comfortable, be able to do what you want to do. And, if you want to keep working, by all means, if you want to work, do your thing. But if you don't want to work, don't put yourself in a situation where you have to because you didn't prepare early when you could have. And just think your money now will do more for you as if you're working towards your retirement, like when you're putting your money into those 401ks or different, high yield savings accounts. You're allowing your money to grow that interest, or interest is building it up higher. So yes, you're putting into it, but it's going to be working and growing with you. So okay, you're putting money over here, but it's also growing interest together. So it's like you're working together. So I highly recommend starting early, starting early. This is the month of financial planning. We are in October. We're in the last quarter of 2023. If you need to talk about planning, you need to talk about what's going on, you want to brainstorm some things with me, schedule a call with me. Now is the time to get ready for the new year. Don't wait until December after you spent everything in Christmas and now I don't even have no money to for my January bills. Don't do it. Let's talk about it. Let's plan about it. I'm here. Don't feel like you can't talk to me. You can talk to me about whatever. What we talk about is what we talk about, and that's it. I want you to get to your success. Don't stay stuck where you are because you're embarrassed. You don't want to talk about it. Guess what? A lot of people have things going on with their money and they need to talk about it, and then they talk about it and they get the stuff together. But as long as you sit there and you don't get help, or you don't talk to anyone, or you don't learn new things, you're not going to get any better. So I'm here if you're ready. There's a link in the scheduler when I schedule this live that shows you how you can schedule a call with me, or there's other things that I offer. So just think about what you might need, but don't wait. Get started now. This is a month of planning. So plan, plan, plan. And thank you for the good tips. Yes, always plan ahead. As always, I thank you guys for being here. If you're not subscribed, please, please, please subscribe to the page. What else? Like this live video, get the thumbs up. It's a thumbs up on there, so definitely give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. I'll see you all next week. Next week, we're going to talk about planning ahead for the holidays. So we should already have started, but if we haven't started already, we're going to talk about that next week. So, get ready for that. I'll see you then. Have a great evening. I appreciate y'all for being here with me while I'm live every week. And I'll see you next week for Talk Tuesday. Same place, same